Post-match reaction of Milan-Inter semi-final, first leg of Coppa Italia, just finished now a few minutes ago, 1-1. Here's some reaction, but also, guys, I want to talk about the words of Furlani and apparently the gossip that is increasing in the last few hours around Paratici, okay, that is going to become the new sport director of AC Milan. But before I want to start to talk about right away the match, the football match that we watch. I have to say personally, guys, it doesn't matter how bent or how bad Milan it is. Whenever we're gonna play against Inter, for me especially, is always a match that it's just stick in my mind all day. It's just because from the city, grew up with a lot of friends that I know they're laughing behind of our situation. And honestly, this match, it's the probably our enemy is the reason why we still still making videos, still talking about Milan, because it's a match that probably in a day like this, it's a day that after what we've seen, what's going on in Milan, a match like this is the last things that you want to watch. But I also want to remind you that in case, and in a good way, it's gonna be probably the best things can happen to us in this moment. Okay, so now I'm not saying that I'm happy for a draw. Of course, Milan should always aim for the victory, but ladies and gentlemen, the Milan that me and you grew up is not here anymore. They're changing everything. They're even changing the logo next year. Here we are talking about a new Milan. And for the Milan right now that it's located in the very comfortable ninth spot, 4 points from Fiorentina, 7 points from Udinese, I think we can all be happy tonight about drawing against the team that's supposed to win everything. The triplete supposed to win everything and give us 5 goals every time we face them. Somehow this year we are their Sassuolo. Somehow this year we just focus more, and the team is there, because that it's clear the team is there. I think we say that on this channel a million of times. The team is there. It's sometimes they decide to play as a team and not as a single player. And not saying that wow, we can win the Champions League. It's not at that level. It's not even winning the Campionato. But it is a better result than we were expecting, to be fair. Also, we saw how we suffer when Inter start playing in a midfield with Mkhitaryan, Barella, and Calhanoglu. Guys, you can understand how a team plays in a much more scenic, and they play beautiful football. At some point, they were playing really, really good. The game changer for them clearly was Mkhitaryan, in my opinion. And I have to say that Thuram was always very dangerous. Tonight we're missing Lautaro, and you can see that that's why Chao and Gabbia, they were able to limit a little bit more Correa. However, still we concede a very stupid goal. But we know Calhanoglu scored those kind of goals, right? We saw them. So it's I think overall it's a fair result. I think that if you meet a fair a fair Inter fan, they will say that the result was correct. I think overall, if we can keep, I know I'm not going to expect anything, because the next match I think it's Milan Fiorentina, so I'm not going to expect anything different or a resurrection. But I'll say, could be good if this one could be, I'm going to say that again, a pivot point for the season, for whatever is left, for 8 matches left. So maybe we can bring home some points, can build a little bit more of trust in this player and the team, and for whoever is going to be left afterwards. That's my thought. We're going to face again Inter in the second half. I don't know yet exactly, but I think it's not going to be next week. It's going to be in a few weeks. However, first of all, guys, before the match, Giorgio Furlani, Milan CEO, decided to talk on the microphone, because today there was a lot of interesting news about the new sport director. So they asked him directly on the sport director, is there a general agreement with Paratici? Right away they ask him. I love this kind of question, that cut off the chit chat, just go straight to the point. So he said that, first of all, we are not satisfied with the sporting result of the season. Sporting results are the core of the club, and we are working towards next season to achieve a better outcomes. It didn't seem so far, in my opinion. That was the anyway. Within the work, there are several paths and preparation underway. We haven't finalized or decided anything with anyone yet. I won't comment on roles or individuals, but we are preparing because we want to improve the sporting side. It's interesting that he defined the sporting side like it should be everything all together. One thing's like they clearly see Milan as a department, okay, different than the financial, the marketing, the sports side, and so on. They have these. Probably it's probably the Pope Jerry Cardinale said that this is a club has to function in this way, ABC, instead of trying to create a whole harmony altogether. A little bit old school. Well, old school. The way that it's supposed to be in football, in Italian football. We don't need the Americans to tell us how to run this club. So he didn't say anything yet about Paratici. He actually said about Ibrahimovic, but it's a very democratic answer. Like Ibrahimovic seems absent to the outsider world, but not to me. We are always in contact. We work together in complete harmony internally. It's clear who the people are and who does what, and how we work as a team. Perhaps from the outside there is a bit of confusion. Okay, Ibra will remain in this project, and we work all together. In my opinion, it's is lying because Ibrahimovic slowly is gonna be put on the side, or is gonna be there just to be present. But the reality doesn't count anything else. In the moment that he comes the sport director, people like Ibrahimovic, people like Moncada, people like Furlani, they don't have to have any power over the sport director, in my opinion, because they have to let him work. That's it. They have to let him work with full power because he's a person with experience. Maybe he's not the best person. Now I'm gonna tell you something about Paratici. Maybe he's not the cleanest person ever, but at least he's a sportsman. He's somebody that won. Somebody that won 9 consecutive Serie A titles, 5 Coppa Italia, UEFA Champions League final, 2015 and 2017. It's somebody that brought players like the Higuain, the Vlahovic, yeah, the Tevez, the Vidal, the Pogba, the Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus. But also just remind you that they also brought somebody like Bentancur, Romero, Richardson, and the GOAT, Emerson Royal, to Tottenham. So he's a sport director that needs budget, and this is going to be crucial for Paratici to see what kind of budget he can work with, what kind of people he can work with. Does he have to work with people of Elliott, with Redbird, or he can work just for Milan? Because that's going to be crucial for Milan, rebuilding this Milan, okay? That's going to be crucial. Now, some people, just so you know, Paratici will be back in Milan to play after after June, July, because he's been banned from the Serie A. Why is being banned from Serie A? Guys, Paratici was banned as a part of Juventus' Prisma investigation, which uncovered financial irregularities and false accounting. The key issue was artificial capital gain, where Juventus was accused of inflating players' value in swap deals to balance their book. For example, Miralem Pjanic was valuated by Juve around 60 million and Arthur around 72 million, despite their market value being much lower. Also, the exchanging between Danilo and Conceição investigation led 10 points deduction to Juventus in Serie A season 2022-2023. Was Paratici involved? Hell yeah, because he was the sport director of that club, and they found out also messages, email around, including Paratici, so he knew it. So he's a cheater. Okay, he's a cheater. Now he doesn't have any contract, and he just want to come back to the front line, and whatever best club than a sleeping giant, or a dead giant as we like to call it now, whatever than a dead giant, to bring him back to have some work. Honestly, guys, it's not gonna be my first choice, Paratici, but it is. We have to be functional now. We have to be cynical. And I believe that Furlani probably knows this, and he knows that he's a man of football. He's not probably the cleanest. That's why they're gonna be really very close to Paratici and see what he does, because he doesn't want to play with Milan reputation. I hope. Okay, I hope they're gonna stay close to him, but also they want to. Furlani wants to bring back the people of football to Milan, somebody that is Italian and somebody that is also has some sort of power to also shield the team and experience, to say to the team, to the coach, that the club side, the financial stuff, let's leave it outside. Let's talk about football. Let's try to get better to football, because next year, guys, I would love to win back everything. I would love to win the Scudetto right away, but I also am not delusional to understand that, to think, to dream that it's gonna be happening, because we need to rebuild from the 9th spot. I really hope that Milan is not gonna go even in Europa League, because I don't care about watching Europa League. We all know. So I would like that with Paratici, if eventually comes, we're gonna get a coach that is gonna play football for us. Is gonna give him some grinta. I don't care about big players that they're gonna leave. I wanna make sure that we die with playing football. We die with honor. You know. What do you think about this situation, Puma? There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for now. We're gonna do maybe another video if we're gonna have some news about Paratici, about Furlani, about Elliot, about Redbird. There is a lot of things going on. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Always Forza Milan, always Forza Milan, always Forza Milan, no matter what.